So welcome, everybody. Thanks for coming. So let's get started. We'll start with, we are live captioning our meetings. Please look in the chat window of our WebEx meeting where you will find a link. Please click on that link to open a web page for our live captioning. So all of you, click away. So good evening. My name is Dr. Narini. I'm the board secretary. I'll be running the meeting tonight. Ms. Sullivan, our board president, is not feeling well, but will be joining us virtually. Hello, Ms. Sullivan.
Hello.
She regrets she can't be here in person for our first in-person board meeting post-COVID. Well, not post for her. But she's looking forward to seeing everybody at our September 27th board meeting. Also, I want to welcome all the new presidents and all the new district office staff. And I'm not going to steal Dr. Gonzalez's thunder. He'll introduce everybody during his segment, but I want to welcome all the presidents and all the new DO staff. We are also celebrating a few birthdays, celebrating a few birthdays. Our very own Miss Susan Bittersmith, happy birthday. And Dr. Kate Smith, happy birthday. Okay, so now it's time to call the meeting to order. At this time, I call to order the regular meeting for the Maricopa County Community College District Governing Board for August 23rd, 2022. For the record, I will call roll of the board members. Lynn Burnett, our student rep, are you here? Here, all right, welcome. Ms. Bittersmith?
Here.
Ms. McGrath?
Present.
Ms. Smith?
Present.
Dr. Thor?
Present.
Kathleen Nguyen, are you with us? No. And Ms. Sullivan?
Present.
All right, so let the record show that tonight we have 6 board members present, 1 not present, and 1 who's, Ms. McGrath. I almost forgot Ms. McGrath. Oh, she's here? Okay. So we
didn't forget me.
Oh, thank you. So we have 6 board members, 2 joining us virtually, and 1 not present. So next, we're going to go with the Pledge of Allegiance. So if we'll all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And tonight we have 2 substitutions. Dr. William Guerrero, Vice President of Academic Affairs, is here for Dr. Greg Peterson, President of Chandler Gilbert Community College. And Ms. Diana Aguirre Rosales, Fiscal Director for Mr. Brian Spicker, Foundation President and CEO. Next up, we have the Faculty Executive Council with their report, A Sunny Summer and Even Brighter Fall. Welcome, Dr. Camille Newton, please proceed with your report.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Dr. Narini, governing board members, Chancellor Gonzalez, CEC members, colleagues, and guests. And a specific warm welcome from the faculty to our new presidents, Dr. Tammy Robinson from Mesa and Dr. Tiffany Hunter from Paradise Valley. And also to our kind of new presidents, Dr. Kimberly Britt from Phoenix and Dr. Eric Lashinsky from Scottsdale. We look forward to working with all of you. I want to provide just a few brief updates of what faculty have been at work at since June, the last time we met. First, the summer was busy and we are very grateful for that. Faculty leadership thinks it's good news that it was a hectic summer that is due in no small part to our flourishing shared governance. We appreciated the opportunity to collaborate with our colleagues at district and the colleges, from serving on hiring committees and implementation task forces to leading and supporting the important work that's going on strategic planning, bachelor's degrees, and the 40X initiative. It's an exciting time to be a partner in Maricopa. Residential faculty were also busy teaching, providing library and counseling services, and working on curriculum to support students. For example, Business faculty in Maricopa worked with the Arizona Department of Real Estate. They secured approval of the courses in our new CCL in commercial real estate as continuing education units. This means that realtors in our communities can turn to Maricopa for some of the 24 units that they have to do every year in order to keep up their credentials. We also had counseling faculty working expeditiously to ensure an efficient and inclusive rollout of FYE courses to begin this semester. We're all very grateful for their continued work to support students and the faculty who are teaching those courses. Now that summer has ended, despite what the weather would suggest, residential faculty are back in full force for fall 2022. There's nothing quite like the promise, energy, and excitement of a new academic year. You can feel it on every one of our campuses this week. We can feel that energy, and we are excited to meet students where they are. Faculty are doing that by teaching classes in all modalities. We are teaching online, in hybrid format, and in person. Faculty have been flexible in order to meet student demands, adjusting courses and schedules to meet their preferences. Faculty are also offering courses in weekend, 6-week, 8-week, 10-week, 14-week, and 16-week formats. We want to ensure that we serve students who benefit from both traditional and accelerated learning formats and opportunities. Finally, faculty are teaching the new first-year experience courses and participating in field of interest and guided pathways activities. We want to support students as they explore career options, determine their goals, and pursue the pathways that allow them to be successful in their desired transfer program and employment. It feels good to be back on campuses, serving our students and communities. It also feels good to be back in person at Governing Board, looking at faces rather than my computer screen. I hope we all have a wonderful and productive academic year. I thank you and good evening.
Thank you, Dr. Newton. Next is the Adjunct Faculty Association report. Reporting for the adjunct faculty is Mr. Paul Frankowak. He has submitted a written report that requires no speaking time tonight. Next up, we have staff representation update. Ms. Shannon Monge and Mr. Calvin Duvall. Please come up and give us your report.
Thank you. President Sullivan, Dr. Narini, governing board members, Chancellor Gonzalez, members of CEC and guests. It is wonderful to be here in person today, see all your bright smiling faces as we start fall semester. My name is Shannon Monchi, and I'm an administrative coordinator at Paradise Valley Community College in the Academic Affairs Division. Yes, Dr. Hunter, I am proud to be a Puma. But I am here reporting for you today as the co-president for staff representation. I'm alongside my colleague, Calvin Duvall, who is your additional co-president for staff representation. He'll be with me for another 2 years, and I look forward to working with him in this role. As most of you know, I presented a lot for staff representation last year, so I think you don't need to hear my voice for the rest of the night. I am going to turn over our presentation to my colleague, Calvin.
Thank you. My name is Calvin Duvall. I am officially full-time now at district office as a full-time co-president of staff representation. I'm exempt, and I am reporting into the office of the Chief Human Resource Officer. Next slide. So staff representation, we went through elections, July 1, middle of the summer. We started a new term with new reps, new senators, and a new co-president, myself. And we have a lot looking forward to in the 22-23 year. We're looking at strengthening our relationships with CEC, the President's Council, and faculty, continuing assistance with district-wide initiatives and councils, task force, such as the Class and Comp, the Staff Policy Collaboration Team, strategic planning. Those are just to name a few. We're on a lot more task force and committees. Assisting with the implementation of the new MCCD shared governance model, something we're very excited about. Moving forward with full-time staff representation with a new co-president model as well. Next slide. So in staff representation tradition, this month we are highlighting South Mountain and some new reps we have there. We have the senator who is the exempt senator from South Mountain, Don Jensen Bobadilla. We have Daniel Lacapa and Elisa Sanga. For non-exempts, we have Sophia Baca, Jason Gillian, and Jennifer Vasquez. The sworn officer representative from South Mountain is Tim Duran. Next slide. Our internal committees have new leadership as well. The communications committee that leads the website and the great newsletters that come out on a monthly basis, that is now being led by April Rowland and Wendy Tobin. The continuity committee is now being led by Claire Grease, Michael Thomas, and Donna Winston. The policy team is continuing being led by Josh Moss and Nadine Stellers. The elections and onboarding committee has not been created yet. Next slide. So I invite everyone, if you have not been to our website, please go to our website. Learn a lot more about staff representation, what our mission and goals are. Our newsletter, which comes out on a monthly basis, is a really great benefit for staff. You can also find past newsletters on our website. And if you ever want to reach out to Shannon and myself, you can always do so by emailing staff.representation.leadership@domel.maricopa.edu. And with that, I want to thank the governing board, presidents, new and continuing, and welcome to the new semester.
Thank you for the report. Next up, student life report. There's no report. Next is the Emeritus Awards and recognition. Tonight we have 4. With the representatives for Chandler Gilbert Community College and the recipients, please come to the podium.
Good evening. I suppose I should cast my gaze upward when saying good evening to President Sullivan. Following your model, Dr. Narini, and members of the board, Chancellor Gonzalez, college presidents, and all of our guests tonight. It is my privilege to be here. My name is William Guerrero. I'm the Vice President for Academic Affairs at Chandler Gilbert Community College, to introduce 2 faculty members, one of whom is here tonight, as you can see, who are receiving their emeritus distinction. So you have the materials describing all of the wonderful contributions these faculty members have made, but I would like to say just briefly that I've been a career-long friend of both of these individuals. Dr. Yvonne Reinecke is here with me. She and I came to the college right around the same time in 2002-2003 academic year. And in addition to all the contributions that are mentioned in her emeritus status paperwork, I just want to say that, you know, if you envision a college as a series of concentric circles, you look for the people who are in the perhaps innermost circle or the one right next to it, the people that you turn to time and time again to engage, to participate, to move the college's goals and objectives and mission forward. And Yvonne has always been one of those people. She's always there, whatever's going on. She wants to be part of it, has accomplished some wonderful things both inside the classroom and beyond the classroom in terms of extracurricular, co-curricular events, sustainability initiatives. So I just want to thank her for all the work that she's done there. Wish her all the happiness and health in the world in her retirement, and invite her to come to the podium and say a few words to you now. Yvonne.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this honor. Yeah, I'm kind of just tickled pink, really. But it's just was a pleasure of my life to work at Chandler Gilbert, and the concentric circles. I owe so much to all the other faculty, staff, administration, district support for different initiatives and so forth. And it was just a joy to work with the students, with everyone. So thank you so much.
So I'd also like to say a few words because I think there's a very, very good chance that our second honoree, Dr. Lee Garza, is either watching the live stream or may watch the recorded version. And there would be a high price for me to pay if I didn't say something about the years he and I spent together at Chandler Gilbert Community College. As you see in the materials, Dr. Garza actually retired after 30 years of service to this district, all of which were spent at Chandler Gilbert Community College. And he also is one of those people who was in that innermost concentric circle, always available to do whatever we needed as an institution, a faculty member, a mentor to many, including some sitting right in this room. And just the kind of person that you could always turn to for guidance, for counsel. And I did many, many times. And there's not a day that goes by that I don't think of some of the things that Lee told me, the advice that he gave me. I still have the privilege of getting together with him every once in a while because he lives here in the Valley. So I just want to congratulate him. Thank you for enduring that brief accolade. And Lee, I wish you all the best health and happiness in your retirement as well. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Gateway Community College and the recipients, please come to the podium.
She's coming.
Dr. Narini, governing board members, Dr. Gonzalez, CEC members, and colleagues and guests. It is my privilege to stand here tonight to introduce two faculty from Gateway Community College who have done extraordinary work at our college, and maybe not the most ordinary way. I will first introduce Kirsten Berdahl, who is not able to join us tonight, but I'm not sure if she's online or not. She spent over 15 years at our college and was really a pioneer of interprofessional education. To make that more palatable, what that means is she was a champion of physical therapy and was faculty, but then she moved into more of a leadership and oversight role where she ran our HUG clinic and our safe patient handling lab, which is critical to all of our programs. So that's the interprofessional education component of it. She helped all of our programs that had any healthcare issue. She worked with colleagues that were so they could learn how to move patients safely, to move them without causing injury to patients or to themselves. And so they also have a community component. I'm sorry, I'm so nervous. Community component that we are doing outreach and hoping to share the facility that we use for safe patient handling and open it to others to continue learning. So Kirsten, if you are here, thank you for your service. We look forward to hopefully having her join us again in the future after the appropriate amount of time has passed. The other remarkable woman I'd like to introduce tonight is Monica Wadsworth-Seibel. And she actually, in the program, it says she was with us for 30 years. I believe next week would have been 35 years. So she's been with Gateway since 1987, doing remarkable things for students. So as the HUG program, our health unit coordinator program, she really was instrumental in shaping students' lives who maybe needed a step into healthcare, that maybe needed just those entry-level skills to begin a whole career that would get them into the door. So she introduced ideas of, whole courses and program certificates around running a health unit, doing the charts. And if you can imagine in 35 years, how much that changed and how she had to adapt from paper charts to electronics and keep things moving. And often these students, that was their first step into healthcare. And then it got them jobs that paid well. And it got them, those students into those jobs that had employers who might actually supplement their tuition so they could come back and continue into other pathways that led to other healthcare degrees. Monica was also a champion for faculty. She was chair of chairs. She was our chair. She was faculty senate president. She was a colleague to me from the day I came on board when I was here, only been for a year and a half. And she's a fierce advocate for faculty rights and for students. I applaud her. I'm glad she's here in person tonight. I would like to introduce Monica to you to say a few words.
Well, after that intro from Dr. Polliard, I hardly feel like I need my 4 sticky notes. Once I heard I got to speak, I got prepared. Of course, I've been teaching a long time, but thank you, Governing Board, Chancellor Gonzalez, college presidents, especially Dr. Amy Diaz, and our Vice President, Dr. Polliard. I was going to mention that I'd been here for 34 years, but I think to put that in perspective, I've got a little perspective on that. I joined Gateway just after we switched from being called Maricopa Technical College, and we went from the downtown area to the warehouse on 40th Street. I also have been here long enough such that 25 years ago or so, the district had entertained ideas to change the name of Gateway Community College. And one of the options was Sky Harbor Community College. And I have a coffee cup with Sky Harbor Community College on it. So that just kind of puts my, I was going to say something kinder, but my age in perspective. You know, I did look up the word emeritus and I found, of course, it means retired and remembered. And, but I did find that in Latin, it means veteran soldier. And the Romans would often recall their soldiers in times of need. We won't go there tonight. But it is an honorary title. And I just want to recap a few things that Dr. Polliard did mention. I was FPG Advancement Chair for a number of years. I was a Faculty Senate President. I was the Health Sciences Division Chair and Chair of Chairs. So I did serve faculty. I did my best to serve the community insofar as I helped start new programs and maintain curriculum. I also helped, I don't know if anybody remembers Dr. De Los Santos many years ago. May he rest in peace, but the Hickey's curriculum is something that I was involved in. And if you don't know what that is, it's not like what it sounds. Truly, Hickey's, it's the healthcare core, but that's what I'm talking about. But the most important part of being in the role of faculty, and I think for all of us, it's the students. And I just want to mention a couple of types of students that I've had in the Health Unit Coordinating Program. I've had retail managers who wanted to redirect their careers to healthcare. I had a Yugoslavian pediatrician that needed a step into healthcare. I had a retired dentist. I had people on programs that were waiting to get in on wait lists for other programs. But the one that almost brings me to tears every time is the woman who took my program and she lived in a homeless shelter and she had no teeth. And the next time I saw her, she was working on a hospital unit as a health unit coordinator and she had a beautiful smile. I guess my point is that when you serve the community and faculty and the district, who you're really serving are the students. And the students are the reason that we're all here in this room. So it's been an honor to have been part of the Gateway Community College family for so long. And I'm sure I'll stop by, so you can't get rid of me that easily. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Also, on behalf of the governing board, we thank you for your dedication to our students and congratulate you on all your accomplishments. Next up, we have the Chancellor report. Dr. Gonzalez, we're ready for your report.
Been trying to button and it doesn't stay on. So do I have to hold it as I'm talking? My goodness. I may have to take a finger break here after a little bit. I want to just say I'm just going to be, it's really weird to be back in person for a board meeting. Isn't it? Can we just all admit that for a moment? But it is really good to see everybody. And as a personal confession, Dr. Lazinski was extremely nervous about this board meeting today. I'm just kidding. He's doing just fine. I was the one that was very nervous and he calmed me down before I came in. So really good to see all the warm faces here. I want to say welcome back to the new academic year. A lot of exciting things going on in Maricopa. In spite of some of the challenges that we've had through COVID and other things that arose through the last 2.5 years, we've made some tremendous progress. So I want to just say thank you and congratulate you all for hanging in there and remembering what our mission and our purpose is here and continuing to serve our students and our community with utmost integrity and support and respect and all of those things. It's just been amazing. And it's been an honor for me to serve in this role during this time too. If somebody would have said in January of 2020, you're going to still be here in August of 2022, I would have said, get out of here, come on. But here we are. Anyhow, I know that some of the new leaders have been introduced, but I'd like to formally introduce them to Maricopa. And if they've been in Maricopa, I want to introduce them into the new roles. And I'm going to introduce our new executive leaders. And if you would stand and be recognized, please, so that everyone can see you. We have Dr. Tammy Robinson, who is the president of Mesa Community College. Dr. Tiffany Hunter, president of Paradise Valley Community College. Dr. Kimberly Britt, president of Phoenix College. Dr. Eric Lazinski, president of Scottsdale. We also have Janice Faulkner, who is on day 2 as the new general counsel for Maricopa. We also have Kim Granillo, who has stepped into her role permanently as the Vice Chancellor of Business Services. And I have some folks that are stepping up in a big leadership way by stepping into some interim roles. That's Dr. Kathy Hernandez as Interim Chief of Staff. Bettina Salas, Acting Vice Chancellor of Academic and Student Affairs. And I sent out an email on July 5th that contained some other announcements in there. And so I would encourage you to go back and see some of the other changes that were announced at that time. But I want to welcome especially the new folks to Maricopa. You certainly bring a different perspective, a new perspective, and we're really looking forward to what you glean over the next several weeks and help us to become a better organization overall. And I really appreciate the leaders that have stepped into other positions too, and encourage you to continue to do the same. I'm just going to provide a couple more updates here for enrollment and legislative, very quick update, and then just a few highlights for the remainder of this so that we need to look forward to. An enrollment update, head count was down 3.9% over this time last year. And FTSE was down 3.7%. And that's an estimation because we are estimating based on the fact that dual enrollment FTSE was not captured at this time last year. And we were tracking along pretty well over the summer, relatively flat overall. And we actually have some of our colleges that are experiencing positive enrollment growth. And then we have to go through the enrollment cancellation process. And that's where, unfortunately, we've got to drop students who have registered but have not completed the process to pay. And I just want to let you know that while that number may be in 1,000 to 2,000, maybe upwards of 3,000 students when we go through that, we make an earnest attempt to reach out to each of the students and encourage them to complete that process. And we're actually able to save a vast number of those students. So that is an enrollment process that we pursue. We're also currently utilizing what we're referring to as the interim strategic enrollment plan. And that includes 9 strategies. Plus, I like this one, Bring Back a Friend campaign, where we're encouraging students to reach out to some of their friends who were former Maricopa students and no longer with us to say, come back and come back together. And we give each student $200 for a sort of a finder's fee to help them with their tuition or their books or whatever they need help for. So if any people are listening out there in the community, come back and bring a friend with you. For legislative update, we will bring the board recommendations for the 2023 state and federal legislative update during the September work session. And that we also hope at the September board meeting that we will have an agenda that would be approved by our governing board so that we can get a jump on this very early in this season. And hopefully, I mean, we've been very proud of the work that we've done over the last 2 years and the legislative agendas. And I think that we're just going to continue to do really well there. So looking forward to that work. And then some highlights that I'm really looking forward to this year. One is the fact that we've got a greater in-person presence on our college campuses. And I'm looking forward to getting out and seeing some students around campus and seeing more of our faculty and staff and administration on our campuses as well. We are asking our governing board to approve 7 bachelor's degrees. And that's really, really exciting and looking forward to that continued work. That paves the way for HLC visits to come and see what we're going to do there and hopefully approve that so that by this time next year, we may have some students actually enrolled in one of the 7, if not all of the bachelor's degree programs. And then the other thing that I'm really excited about is the completion of our strategic planning process. Many of you have been involved in that, and I encourage each and every employee to find a way to get plugged into that process so that your voice may be heard. We're doing the same thing for our governing board members. We're doing the same thing for community members. Encourage anyone that has an interest in the work that we do to help inform that process so that we can become a better organization and better serve our communities. We hope to have that done by the end of this fall semester, which is December, and to begin to implement and roll out that strategic plan in January of 2023. Dr. Narini, that concludes my update. Thank you.
How's your finger? Well, thank you for the report. Next up, we have the Citizens Interim. This is an opportunity for members of the public to address the governing board. In compliance with open meeting law, the governing board will neither discuss nor take action on issues raised during this portion of the agenda. When necessary, issues will be taken under advisement and placed on subsequent agenda. Presenting concerns to the board and the free expression of ideas should be communicated with decorum and respect. Uncivil or disorderly conduct is not permitted. To use a derisive or insulting language or direction of remarks that defame, attack, or harass an individual may serve as cause for the board president to direct the speaker to immediately conclude his or her remarks. Tonight, we have one request, Ms. Lujan Pleasant. And please keep your comments to 3 minutes. Thank you.
Evening, Dr. Durini and Madam President, in your absence, Dr. Gonzalez and the new General Counsel, welcome. My name is Lawan Pleasant and I stand before you stressed. I just kind of lost my notes, but I was just standing here to remind the governing board that I did provide documentation at the last governing board meeting on the 26th. I want to thank Ms. McGrath for her request to have that information circulated throughout the governing board. I hope that you've all had a chance to review that information and share that with the new general counsel. And welcome to Arizona. Yeah, my nephew was just drafted to your old team with the NBA, Marjan Beauchamp. So I think that all brings good positive energies for resolve. This has been an ongoing situation, as you know, Dr. Gonzalez. We're trying to get this resolved in a timely manner. My information has not changed. I will be standing before you each and every board meeting now that we're present until we get resolved. I'm speaking on behalf of not only myself, but in reference to the entire community that we serve when it comes to following established policies and procedures. We can't continue to hire attorneys to thwart the right and the will of your policy and procedures. That is unacceptable, and that's why I'm bringing this to the governing board, because you provide the oversight and are responsible for the actions or inactions that not only our chancellor is responsible for, but I believe it's your oversight and your responsibility to also take into consideration the concerns that I'm bringing to your attention once again. So that's my time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have consideration for the consent agenda. We now have to move to the consideration for consent agenda items. All items under this section of the agenda are consent matters unless they are removed from the consent agenda at this time. Do any board members or the chancellor wish to remove any items from the consent agenda? Seeing and hearing none, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. This is
Moved.
Marie.
Marie, was that you?
Yes, I made the motion.
Is
To
there a
move
second?
forward.
Second.
Dr. Thor, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? By a vote to 6-0 with one absent, the consent agenda is approved. Next up is the non-consent action items. Approval of 7 proposed bachelor's degree programs to be offered at 8 colleges of the Maricopa County Community College District beginning fall 2023. Is there a motion to approve the 7 proposed bachelor's degree programs to be offered at the 8 colleges of the Maricopa County Community College Districts beginning fall 2023?
Dr. Narini, I've waited 25 years to do this. I move the approval of the 7 new bachelor's degrees.
Great. Is there a second?
There's a second. I was going to try to make the motion, but I knew better. Me too.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Vote of a 6-0 with one absence. The motion carries.
Yay.
I want to thank all the staff who's worked so hard to get this up and going. So thank you guys all for all the work you've done. Second, reading and adoption of a proposed new policy for staff policy manual regarding professional growth. Is there a motion to adopt the proposed new policy for staff policy manual regarding professional growth?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? By a vote of 6-0 with one absent, the adoption of a proposed new policy for staff policy manual regarding professional growth is approved. Next up is first reading and informational items. Employment and separations, May 21st, 2020 through June 7th, 2022. I'm sorry, May 21st, 2022 through June 7th, 2022. Are there any comments or questions? No, moving on. Tonight, we have a team from the Arizona Office of Auditor General, including the Auditor General, here to present us with the district's fiscal year 2020, 2021 audit reports and results. Ms. Granillo, would you please introduce yourself and our guests?
Thank you so much, Dr. Narini. President Sullivan, Dr. Gonzalez, members of the governing board, members of CEC, colleagues, and guests. It is my pleasure to introduce you to the audit team that is here tonight to present our audits and findings from our 2021 audit season, if you will. As we shared during agenda review, this is a new requirement via statute that the offices, whoever conducts your audit, and for us, I think it will always be the Auditor General's office. We're a good in-town audit is how we used to phrase it when I was working for the Auditor General's office some time ago. And so they are required then to come and present the results of the audit and the findings to you all. And so with that, I want to introduce Lindsay Perry, who is the Auditor General for the state of Arizona. Stephanie Gerber, who is the Director of the Financial Audit Division, who's the division of the Auditor General's office that conducts all of the audits for us. And then also Taryn Stengel, who is the Financial Audit Manager for Maricopa's audit. And Stephanie and Taryn for probably the longest amount of time, but Stephanie as well has been working on our audit for several years, many years. So all three of them are very familiar, I believe, with Maricopa and our audit. So I'm happy to turn it over to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chancellor Granillo, Dr. Narini, governing board members, Chancellor Gonzalez. Thank you for inviting me and my team to your first in-person back to board meeting, where we appreciate being able to be here in person. It certainly poses a lot of challenges doing this through a different mechanism, so we appreciate the opportunity. First, I think it's helpful to provide a little bit of background on the Auditor General's office. The Auditor General is a legislative agency, and we're made up of nonpartisan staff. We are an independent source of impartial information concerning state and local government entities. We also provide specific recommendations to improve the operations of those state and local entities, including the district. We are well-versed in and follow several standards, including governmental auditing standards. These standards were created by the U.S. Comptroller and outline several requirements for what my office follows, including things like audit reports, professional qualifications for auditors, auditor ethics, independence, objectivity, professional judgment, audit evidence, and an audit organization's quality control. All auditors of federal, state, and local governments use these same standards to perform audits and produce reports. Stephanie will discuss those in more detail later. Although we are accountable to all 90 legislative members, we report directly to the Joint Legislative Audit Committee. And this is a bipartisan group of 10 members, 5 members appointed by the president, the Senate president, and 5 members appointed by the Speaker of the House. As Vice Chancellor Granillo stated, I wanted to remind everybody of the purpose of our presence at today's meeting and at future meetings. We look forward to seeing you as well. As you may know, effective September 29th, 2021, Laws 2021, Chapter 427, Section 3 directs that the District Governing Board require that its auditors, in this case my office, to present audit results and any findings to the board, not in a regular meeting without the use of a consent agenda, and that's within 90 days of the audit completion. This is a great opportunity for us to be in front of you, to present our work and the good work of your office and your colleges, to answer questions and to be a resource. As you may remember, we completed the district's fiscal year 2021 financial statement audit, the associated report on internal control and compliance, and federal compliance audit, and issued those reports in January, March, and June of 2022, respectively. We continue to have a positive working relationship with the district's management and staff, including Vice Chancellor Granillo and the respective presidents and colleges. And we look forward to continuing that relationship as we complete the fiscal year 22 audit, which we have already started on. I'll now turn it over to Stephanie, who will be discussing our role in conducting your audits and other resources we provide. And then Taryn will proceed after Stephanie and discuss the 5 audit findings that we report in the district's fiscal year 21 reports. Thank you.
Good evening. As mentioned, I'm Stephanie Gerber, and in my role as Financial Audit Director, I oversee all the financial related audits our office conducts. At this time, I'll ask that we move to the next slide, please. Oh, wait, back one slide. I didn't realize you had already moved ahead. Before I begin going over the financial related audits our office conducts, I'd like to take this opportunity to very briefly explain what we follow when we conduct our audits. State and federal laws require Arizona colleges to receive annual financial and compliance audits, including audits of federal programs. We conduct our audits in accordance with 3 main standards or regulations as shown on this slide. First are the U.S. Generally Accepted Auditing Standards, which are issued by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. These are the same standards that CPA firms follow when conducting many of their audits of private business and other governmental entities. Second, for audits of most governmental entities, auditors must also follow government audit standards issued by the Comptroller General of the United States, which require auditors to review and report on significant financial reporting, internal control, and compliance with laws and regulations. Third, we are required to audit the district's federal programs, following requirements based on Single Audit Act and as stipulated by uniform guidance. All of these standards require that we maintain our independence, integrity, and objectivity. Next slide, please. Today, we will be discussing our audit work on the district's annual comprehensive financial report, report on internal control and on compliance, and single audit report. As we have done and will continue to do in future years, we send you emails when your annual reports are completed. We send each of you links to these reports in 3 separate emails dated January 31st, 2022, March 7th, 2022, and June 24th, 2022. The most recent email includes a link to our report highlights that summarize these reports. Those reports, along with the prior reports, can be found on our website at easyauditor.gov. To give a little more detail about those reports, the district's financial report presents the district's annual financial statements and our opinion as to whether the district's financial statements are presented fairly in all material respects in conformity with U.S. generally accepted accounting principles. As in prior years, we reported an unmodified or clean opinion, which means the district's financial statements are reliable. The report on internal control and on compliance is our required financial statement internal control and compliance report. This report is where you will see the one finding we found during our financial audit, along with the district's responses to this finding. We are required to report findings on deficiencies in internal control, fraud or abuse, and non-compliance with laws, regulations, contracts, and agreements that we identify as part of our financial statement audit. Further, the single audit report includes our opinion on the district's compliance with federal program requirements over each federal program we are required to audit, our report on internal control over compliance with federal programs, and the district's schedule of federal expenditures and our opinion on it. The single audit report is where you will see the 4 findings we found during our federal compliance audit, along with the district's responses to them. Next slide, please. Because we know these reports can be detailed and complex, as I mentioned earlier, we also prepare audit report highlights, a 2-page summary that includes the district's largest primary revenue sources and how the district used those monies, as well as brief information about our key findings and recommendations. The highlights also contain links to current and prior year audit reports and user guides that may be helpful in understanding important information presented in these reports. Again, those highlights can be found on our website. Next slide, please. Our audit standards require us to communicate certain information to governance, including each of you, the board members, and Dr. Stephen Gonzalez, Chancellor. As I mentioned earlier, we email you when we issue reports, including our report highlights. We also send you emails when we begin our annual audits and include the audit terms and conditions. We provide information in our audit completion email to make sure you know our audits were completed and whether we encountered any difficulties during the audit. We did not have any difficulties with Maricopa County Community College District's audits. Finally, I'll just give a brief mention that our office provides resources on our website, as you can see listed on this slide, including guidance on financial statement and expenditure limitation reporting, user guides, fraud prevention alerts, budget forms, and other guidance. If anyone needs guidance related to the district's financial related topics, please never hesitate to reach out to the Auditor General, me, or Taryn. So with that, I'm going to turn the time over to Taryn Stengel, and she will explain our reported findings. I would again like to express my and our office's appreciation for inviting us to your governing board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. As mentioned, I will take this opportunity to walk over the findings that are included in the district's fiscal year 2021 audit reports. We reported 5 total findings, which includes 1 financial statement finding related to IT controls and 4 federal compliance findings related to the Student Financial Assistance Cluster and the Higher Education Institutional Aid Program. It is important to note that the district made progress on previously reported findings and reported that it fully corrected 3 prior year financial statement findings by implementing our recommendations to review and approve hourly employees' timesheets, perform IT risk assessments, and properly report its full-time equivalent student enrollment. Additionally, on the federal compliance side, the district reported fully correcting 1 prior year finding on implementing our recommendations to perform IT risk assessments over the Student Financial Assistance Cluster and document a safeguard for each risk identified. Next slide, please. For the district's financial statement audit, we reported 1 finding related to IT controls. This was a repeat finding, meaning the district had not corrected all of the deficiencies previously reported since 2008. Specifically, we identified deficiencies in the district's control procedures for assigning and restricting access over its IT systems and data. Since initially reporting a similar finding in fiscal year 2008, the district has made significant improvements on improving its controls by implementing several of our recommendations. To fully correct this repeat finding, we recommend that the district, one, monitor employees' adherence to its IT policies and procedures for assigning and restricting access to IT systems and data, and provide training to employees to ensure that the policies and procedures are understood and consistently followed. Two, retain documentation to support each employee's user access was properly assigned and reviewed by another employee. And three, assign and periodically review employee user access and train appropriateness and compatibility with job responsibilities. The district reported that the finding was to be fully corrected as of June 2022 by introducing single sign-on and multi-factor authentication for all employees, monitoring its systems to ensure that they are adequately protected, and implementing processes to ensure appropriate and compatibility with job responsibilities in order to ensure further enhance the protection of the district's IT systems and their data. Next slide, please. We reported 3 federal compliance findings related to the student financial assistance, or often referred to as the SFA cluster. The district's 10 colleges each administer their own student financial aid office and disperse SFA programs to students. The district's office is responsible for monitoring each college's office's adherence to district-wide policies and procedures and to ensure compliance with requirements for student financial assistance programs, such as Pell and direct loans, which are 2 of the largest programs within the SFA cluster, comprising over 96% of the total program expenditures in fiscal year 2021. The first federal compliance finding identified over the SFA cluster was that 7 of the 10 colleges did not accurately and/or timely report enrollment status changes. For example, changing from a full-time student to a part-time student. For the National Student Loan Data System, or oftentimes referred to as NSLDS, 11 of 40 students we tested that received Pell Grant or direct loan programs were incorrectly reported. We recommended that the district office should monitor its college's SFA offices to ensure their compliance with district policies and procedures for the Pell and direct loan programs. Further, the college's SFA offices should, 1, report accurate enrollment statuses and changes to the NSLDS within 60 days of the statuses changes for students receiving Pell and direct loans. And 2, follow district-wide procedures to review, verify, and correct, as necessary, student enrollment status data they compiled prior to submitting it to NSLDS. A similar finding over enrollment reporting has been reported since fiscal year 2014. The district reported that it plans to implement our recommendations by June 30th, 2023 by implementing system modifications and continuing to increase training efforts. Next slide, please. In the second student financial aid cluster finding, we noted that 2 of the 10 colleges reported student information for the Pell Grant late on the Common Origination and Disbursement, commonly referred to the COD system, for 3 of 50 students we tested. The colleges were required to report student award disbursements within 15 days after students are awarded monies and correct any input errors. These students' information were reported between 35 and 277 days late. We recommend that the district office monitor its college's SFA offices to ensure their compliance with district's policies and procedures for reporting the Pell Grant in the COD system. Further, the college's SFA offices should perform complete and timely monthly reconciliations of their student information system to what was inputted into the COD system and immediately correct any errors in the student data. And 2, establish timelines and verify that all student information is input into the COD system within the required 15 days after they disperse Pell monies to students, and identify, correct, and update all student information that was rejected by the COD system immediately. The district reported that it plans to implement our recommendations by June 30th, 2023 by reviewing, evaluating, and revising procedures and monitoring activities for Pell awards to ensure student data is accurately and timely reported to the COD system. Next slide, please. In the third SFA cluster finding, we noted that 7 of the 10 colleges did not follow federal regulations over the direct loans program. when completing monthly and/or annual reconciliations of its student disbursement records and with what was reported to the direct loans on the COD system. We recommend that the district office monitor its college's SFA offices to ensure that the compliance with district's policies and procedures for the reconciliation of direct loans. Further, the college's SFA offices should, one, perform timely monthly reconciliations of direct loan student information maintained on the district student system to the COD system and investigate and correct any errors in student data. And then two, they should complete annual program year-end closeout of the direct loans within 30 days after fiscal year end. The district reported that it plans to implement our recommendations by June 30th by reviewing, evaluating, and revising procedures and monitoring activities for the direct loans to ensure student data is accurately and timely reported in the COD system. Next slide, please. Thank you. The fourth and final federal compliance finding identified deficiencies over the higher education institutional aid program. This program is administered and awarded separately to the colleges. Since 2005, 6 of the 10 colleges have been awarded monies to establish endowments to be used for scholarships. The district has 10 endowments that were funded by the program, along with matching dollars funded by the district and the foundation. These endowments are held and invested by the foundation. The district and the 6 colleges have not been properly tracking the endowment balances, reporting the use of the endowments annually to the U.S. Department of Education, or including the endowments on the schedule of expenditures of federal awards, which we often refer to as a CFA. We recommend that the district should designate a district office employee to centrally monitor the endowments with the foundation to ensure compliance with federal requirements, and should develop and implement district-wide policies and procedures to, one, create and maintain a comprehensive list of all endowments held by the foundation, identifying the source of the matching funds, investments, endowment income, and expenditures of the endowment income by requiring the foundation to produce reports of these endowments. 2, report all fiscal year end endowment balances, including interest earned on their CFA. 3, require each college to complete an annual financial report for each endowment and submit these reports to the U.S. Department of Education, certifying that the endowment monies were spent in accordance with the federal regulations. The district reported that it plans to implement our recommendations by December 31st, 2022, by reporting the endowments in the CFA, submitting the required endowment reports to the U.S. Department of Education, and working with the foundation to ensure compliance with the federal requirements. As mentioned, district management prepared corrective action plans in response to our findings, which is included in the back of the district's report on internal controls and noncompliance for the financial statement audit and the single audit report for the federal audit. In their responses, district management agreed with all findings and reported that they intended to implement all recommendations. We will follow up on these findings as part of the fiscal year 2022 financial statement and federal compliance audits, which we have already started. This completes our presentation of the district's fiscal year 2021 audit reports, including the 5 findings. As a reminder, we have provided our audit reports to each board member, and you can find them on the office website, along with various other resources. I want to thank President Sullivan, Dr. Narini, Chancellor, and members of the governing board members and college presidents. I want to thank Vice Chancellor Granillo and her staff. We have a great working relationship and cooperation on each of these audits. If there's any questions, we'd be happy to take them at this time.
Thank you so much. And just for the record, I need to read Arizona Audit General Presentation of Maricopa County Community College District Fiscal Year 2020-2021 Audit Reports and Results are pursuant of Arizona Revised Statute 15-1473F. So with that, are there any questions or comments from the board? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next up are monitoring reports. Are there any comments or questions on our monitoring reports? Hearing none, we'll move on to Community Linkage Governing Board reports. We'll start with Ms. Bittersmith.
Thank you, Dr. Narini. First of all, I just want to echo what Dr. Gonzalez said. This is my first in-person meeting, having been a board member now for almost 2 years. So it's very gratifying to actually see people in person, and you've been listening to voices coming off of telephone lines and computer screens. Just a couple of things I wanted to add to what Dr. Gonzalez said about the PAC committee's work. We are working closely with staff on putting together a legislative agenda proposal. We'll talk about that in the work study and then move forward hopefully for approval with the best knowledge we have of the current time of what may or may not be happening statewide and federal-wise. I also had the great privilege of representing the board not long ago with Mayor Gallego and the Chancellor to talk about the Route to Relief program and Phoenix's partnership with us in that program. We met some great students who are taking advantage of this opportunity to repurpose into new careers, some young, some old. I use the word old cautiously since I'm getting older today, but it was a great opportunity. The mayor was very impressed with the program, and I'm very excited about our participation in that. And with that, that's my report.
Thank you so much. Mrs. McGrath, do you have a report?
No, I do not. Thank you for asking, Dr. Narini.
Thank you so much. Ms. Smith?
Hello, everyone. Really nice to be with you. It's also my first in-person meeting. I hope everyone has a wonderful start to the school year. I have two actually just personal updates that I wanted to share. One, Ms. Sullivan encouraged me to acknowledge that I'll be missing a work session on September 13th, and I will be in Kigali, Rwanda for my work, and she thought that was interesting that I should mention to the group. Some of you may know that in my day job, I work at the Arizona State University Foundation and work on fundraising major gifts. One of our partners is the MasterCard Foundation, and this marks the 10-year anniversary of a scholarship program that I helped establish with that foundation's support to help young people from sub-Saharan Africa study at ASU. And I wanted to mention that I really look forward to learning more about international students that are part of the Maricopa system. I've actually received a few emails from some with visa inquiries. But aside from those issues, I really look forward to learning more about global engagement as well as other programs here. And the second update that I wanted to just share with the group, many of you know that when I decided to run for this position, I was pregnant. And so I now have a 1.5-year-old. And I just wanted to acknowledge for those of you who are starting the school year, sending your own children to school, God bless you and all of the germs that you may have in your home. My son is a week and a half into daycare, and we are learning rapidly about what all of that entails. So to the working parents of those of various ages, I wish you the best at the start of this school year. That concludes my report.
Thank you for that, and be safe on your travels. Ms. Sullivan, do you have a report?
I can't really talk, so I'm going to postpone my report. Thank you for asking.
Well, feel better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Evans. Okay. So, I'm sorry. Dr. Thor, your turn.
Thank you, Dr. Narini. It's really hard to follow Ms. Smith's report. But I simply want to welcome all the faculty, staff, and students to the fall semester and to wish everyone continuing success. Please keep up the great work that you all do.
Thank you for that. Now, Mr. Evans, do you have a report?
Mr. Evans isn't on the board anymore. It's all right. I don't really have a report, so I'm just gonna hold up.
Well, thank you for that. All right, and so I'll just get into mine.
Your turn.
Thank you. So on August 4th, I was able to participate, or at least listen in to the Phoenix Business Journal Awards for the 40 under 40, and our own Ms. Smith was recognized. And I also participated in the press conference with President Sullivan and Congressman Stanton on the announcement of the $1 million fund to expand our bioscience program in the district. So that was great. Finally, South Mountain Community College on August 12th will have their grand opening for their new Science Center. And if you haven't been there, you should get out and see the Science Center. It's an outstanding program. But one of the things I was thinking is that with the new Science Center, South Mountain has 56% of their students are Hispanic, and they have a great program for bilingual nursing. Now that we have the great Science Center, I think we can get nursing and the bilingual nursing program all together, and we should look into having the bilingual nursing program start to finish at South Mountain with all their new programs and the new center they have. So with that concludes my report. And I'm just excited that with the excitement that we have here tonight with everybody back in person, I think it's a good feel for what's coming up this next year for students and for everybody. So thank everybody for being here. Thank you all for being here and thanks for all the excitement. So next up is the establishment of next meetings, dates and times. So August 30th, 2022 is a special meeting and executive session at 4 p.m. regarding the interim chancellor's evaluation. It'll be here at Rio Salado Conference Center, 2323 West 14th Street and Tempe. September 13th, 2022 will be a work session regarding the legislative agenda and agenda review. It'll be virtual at 4:30. September 27th, 2022 will be a work session regarding tuition for fiscal year 2023-2024 at 5 p.m. and a regular board meeting at 6:30 p.m. here at the Rio Salado Conference Center. Board members, are there any comments or questions for the good of the order?
Dr. Narini, I know I'm not a board member, but
We'll go right ahead.
there is something I would like to say.
Now that your finger's back in.
Right, I've got it working this time.
Okay.
If I may, I failed to introduce a couple of people here in my introductions, and when you brought up South Mountain, I can't even use an excuse that I couldn't see her because she's sitting to my immediate left. Yeah, so Dr. Janet Ortega is now serving as our interim president of South Mountain Community College. We also have Dr. Patty Finkelstad, who is serving in a temporary role as our Associate Vice Chancellor of Faculty Affairs. Patty, thank you. I apologize again, and thank you for that opportunity to do so.
Thank you. So if there's no other comments, with that, it is 7:39 and the meeting is adjourned.